Welcome back to ExPhi. Today we're going to be continuing with our series on our nationally representative survey on Americans' views on philosophy. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at, do more Americans think men or women face discrimination? Now, earlier this year, we completed a survey of 1,000 randomly selected Americans on their views on a range of topics in philosophy. This video is the latest video in the series analyzing these data about what everyday Americans believe about philosophy. For more on the survey methodology, check out carneades.org and the methodology blog there. So, there are several different things that the term feminism can refer to. It can refer to political movements, first wave, second wave, third wave. It can refer to methodological approaches to philosophy, or it can refer to a philosophical position. Specifically, the philosophical position is assent to the following two claims. Women and men should have equal rights and access to roles in society, and women are treated worse than men by the law or society in some situations. The survey we conducted focuses on this question of philosophical feminism. For more on this and other viewpoints, check out our video on feminism. This can be contrasted with a viewpoint referred to as progressive masculinism, which makes the first claim but asserts the inverse of the second claim, that men and women should have equal rights and access to roles in society. That's the same first claim as philosophical feminism, but the second claim is slightly different. Men are treated worse than women by the law or society in some situations. This is distinct from traditional masculinism. Men and women should be equal but have different roles. Or virilist masculinism. Masculinity and femininity should have equal weight in society, and masculinity is lagging or has not been emphasized enough in society. See our videos on masculinism for more on those positions. Now, a quick note on privilege. You can see that these two positions are not mutually exclusive. You can think that men are disadvantaged in some situations and women are disadvantaged in other situations. We're framing these positions in this way to push back against the notion of categorical privilege, that some groups have an advantage in all situations. Check out our video on social privilege for more information on the debate between hypothetical and categorical privilege and our arguments for why we're pushing back on this idea of categorical privilege and talking more about hypothetical privilege, the idea that individuals or groups can be advantaged in certain situations as opposed to broadly privileged in all situations. Okay. Our survey asked participants to evaluate these three statements on a Likert scale. Strongly agree, agree, neither agree nor disagree, disagree, and strongly agree. We suspected that the groups might be similarly sized and have little overlap, but we were wrong. Let's take a look. So, as you can see from the graph above, nearly 2/3 of Americans supported the two statements of philosophical feminism, while about half as many supported the two statements of progressive masculinism. Interestingly, almost all of the masculinists were also feminists, while less than half of the feminists were also masculinists. So people who think that men and women should be equal in society and think that men have it worse than women in some situations, almost all of those people also think that women have it worse than men in some other situations. However, many people who think that men and women should be equal and women have it worse in some situations do not think that men have it worse in some situations. Age was a particularly interesting variable, with younger generations being less likely than older ones to identify with the claims of feminism, particularly Gen Z, where less than half of the cohort is feminist. The opposite direction, younger Americans were also more likely to be masculinists, with millennials being more likely than Gen Z, Gen X, or boomers to be progressive masculinists. We set aside the silent generation. I have it included here, but the sample size is a little too small. You can see the standard error is quite large on that, so don't read too much into that one. But for the other generations, we have a big enough sample size. We're pretty confident in the results. Now, views on feminism were also associated with views on nationalism, with more than half of communitarian nationalists rejecting at least one of the two tenets of feminism, while civic nationalists and cosmopolitans were much more likely to be feminists. Read through the blog for even more results and additional details on our methodology. If you want to run your own analysis, the raw data can be purchased on our Patreon page for just $10. Don't forget, we're also going to be running another survey soon. If you want to be a part of it, you can add a Likert statement to the survey for $30 or a full question for $150. Check out our Patreon page for more details. What do you think of these results? Did they surprise you? Which of these categories do you fall into? Are you a progressive masculinist? A philosophical feminist? Neither? Both? What questions would you like to see asked on future surveys? Watch this video and more here at ExPhi and Carneades.org, and stay skeptical, everybody.